From our city to yours, this is AMI Vancouver.
I'm Gary Steeves for Accessible Media. We're in a funky back alley just off of Granville Street in downtown Vancouver, and this is the back door for the Commodore Ballroom, one of Vancouver's favorite music venues and one of the top 10 clubs in North America. Let's see what happens when I knock on the door.
Hello?
Hey, it's Gary from AMI.
Oh, Gary, you got a backstage pass?
Well, I thought you were giving that to me.
Oh, I don't know if I can let you in. I'm just kidding, Gary. Come on in. Let's go check out the Commodore.
Thanks, man.
Aaron Chapman, author of Live at the Commodore, shows us around. At the top of the stairs, we step into the wings at one side of the stage. I follow Aaron through a maze of equipment and stagehands until we go behind the curtain at the back of the stage. We cross the back of the stage, past the waiting guitars, and into the Commodore Green Room.
Here we are, green room time.
Okay, Aaron, I gotta ask you, is the room actually green?
It is. It's kind of mint green, actually. Not all green rooms are green, but this one is at the Commodore.
Mint green's probably calming.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
So what happens in the green room?
Well, this is typically, this is the area between the stage and the front of house. So typically at the green room there'd be an after show meet and greet here, that is separate from the dressing room upstairs, or something before the show where they're meeting with record people and something like that. So it's kind of a bit of a different space than the upstairs dressing room area at the Commodore.
And I hear about bands having really weird things in their riders. Makes me think of Spinal Tap, but that's probably an inside joke. Have you heard of any weird things that bands do for riders in their contracts?
Well, the thing is with riders, that they're often, they're the real sort of one end of the other. You can't predict what you're going to see on a band rider, typically. The most healthiest, sort of clean, sort of pop band in the world wants the most whiskey you're ever going to see. And then you get the metal guys who want hot Afghan yogurt and tofu crepes or something like this. You can't predict it. So
stereotypes go out the window.
It's weird. You can see everything from like the kind of food you'd see at a kid's birthday party to fine dining. As far as riders go. So it's very strange. Sometimes you see something strange on a rider or a joke item, but very often that's just put at the bottom just to make sure that the tour manager knows you're paying attention.
Matt Barber is the tour manager for Whitehorse.
Matt, I've been playing drums in bands for a long time. I've never had a tour manager, so what do you do?
I like to do a little bit of everything. I like to say that I'm wearing all the hats that are left over that no one else is wearing. I do a bit of driving. I do a bit of loading. I advance the shows, so I phone and email ahead 6-8 weeks to make sure that that everything the day is going to run as it should be. Take care of all the technical aspects to make sure that's all in place when we get here. Little things like making sure there's a merch seller, making sure there's loaders to help us, making sure, checking ticket counts, organizing the rider, making sure that's all in place, making sure we have parking, and I make the schedule for the night. I let them know what time we're arriving, how much time I need to set up. We decide on when doors are and how the show works. Kind of everything.
And you were mentioning earlier, talking about riders. Does Whitehorse have any kind of weird things in their rider?
Well, traveling with a 7-month-old baby, we now have little baby food packages and diapers on the rider. So that's been fun to see what diapers show up and to see what flavors of baby food and to see who in the camp has to eat them if Jimmy's not going to eat them. So the baby stuff is the funniest right now.
Jameson Elliott is the band's sound engineer.
Yeah. So the Commodore itself, does it have any specific kind of sound qualities to it?
There's loads of PA, which is excellent. Loads of power, so it can be a lot of fun for an engineer like myself. It's a stunning room. It's so beautiful. You walk in and it's classy. It's a rock bar, which lends itself to a certain aesthetic, but it's a classy room, and so it's really great. I mean, as far as the mix in here, it's rough right now. We just did sound check, and it's like it's gonna be okay because there's gonna be some bodies in there to soak it all up and make it smooth it out a little bit. So yeah, when showtime comes around, we'll be ready to rock.
The band Whitehorse is the duo of Luke Doucette and Melissa McClelland.
You guys have a new album just came out, and you're starting your Canadian tour. What's it like to play the Commodore?
The history and the feeling in the room, rock and roll musicians, and I think that we can call ourselves that, always like to play in bars where people are standing up and having fun. Of course, you feel compelled to want to play the Orpheum Theatre if you can, because it seats more people and it's so opulent and beautiful and grandiose and soft seat theaters. But really, when it comes down to us having fun, this is kind of the best venue on earth, because it's 1,000 seats and people
are standing up, they're up against the stage,
fun.
There's a good energy. It's a lot of fun.
There are other buildings in North America that are of the same size and similar dimensions, but sometimes they're run down and they're dumpy, and the dressing rooms are not nice, and it just doesn't feel like a good vibe. Mind you, even before they did the reno here, this place was fun too. So I don't know. It's always good. I mean, I don't know what to say, except I will never grow tired of this room.
So can you guys describe what your day looks like when you have a gig like this tonight?
It's a long day. It's a long day. But I was thinking that's my favorite part about touring, the fact that we do have this very set routine, but every day is different. You know, like we did that drive through Stanley Park with the sun shining, playing music in the backseat of the van. Like, that doesn't happen every day, obviously. So every place that we go to, every city, every town, there's some new little thing, some interesting little tidbit. And of course, we have our 8-month-old baby on the road with us, and my stepdaughter, Chloe.
So the thing that makes the road really tough is being away from loved ones. And we don't have to endure that. And I've been on the road for, since I was a teenager. It's a couple of decades. This is by far the most enjoyable tour I've ever done.
Well, our backstage pass is finished. We're out front of the Commodore watching people buy tickets for the show. Here's a little sample of Whitehorse.
Luke faces Melissa in the studio and plays the opening bars on his guitar.
I don't have much, but I got the good stuff, and I keep it tucked away where you can find it if you got the guts.
Luke appears as a boxer in the ring and runs towards the camera.
Walk with me, walk with me, walk with me, walk. I got a girl from the bar to walk.
In front of the Commodore in Vancouver, I'm Gary Steeves for Accessible Media.